Hi, everybody. Welcome into another edition of the GASOcast. Back in studio with the whole GASO crew this time. Talking a lot of holiday hoops. We were everywhere, all over the state the last couple of weeks. So we're just going to recap what we saw. We got tons of players, storylines to hit on. So, Mass, I'm going to let you start this off with a quick thought on the weekend, what you saw out there.
Yeah, before I jump into my quick thought, 891 teams seen by the GASO staff. Really proud of that number. We've seen a lot of hoops. We've seen a lot of really good hoops, which leads me to my quick thought. The 2023s, like top of the class, have continued to up their game. I mean, Finley Bizjack, Jalen Lowe, Jamiron Keller, Cornelius. Like, I could go on and on. Every time I go see them, I like them better. And then I go see the next one, and I like them better too. So it's impossible to move all 10 guys up, but their hats off to the top of the 2023 class. They have been phenomenal.
Yeah, speaking of rankings at class of 2034 every Saturday, I know who number one in that class is. Come join me, Lyndon. Anyway,
Britton's or Tucci.
My thought is that we're turning the corner here on the season just in general, and playoff picture. It won't be clear yet, but it's I like what I've seen out there to kind of already predict maybe the top four of each district. Winners of each district, maybe something that Lyndon and I can get going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Predictions.
My talking point is very similar to what Mass had, except it's about 2025 because that class has a chance to be really something special. I mean, at this point, there's probably like 25, 30 guys that are like just circling at the top. I don't know what it's going to look like in terms of a ranking just yet, and we're going to iron all that out whenever we get down to brass tacks about it. But I just saw two of them with
just elite vocabulary.
Brass tacks. Yeah.
They're so skilled. The 25.
Yeah, they are.
Like,
They are.
I tweeted about something. The 25, 26 classes, with just being out and about. And you see how mature some of their games are. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I'm piggybacking off Lyndon. I mean, we had the conversation. I forget what player we were talking about, but we were like, I can't wait to do this ranking. And while we also know that rankings don't mean much, I mean, we do have our eyes. So it's a good. I mean, our rankings are going to come out, and it's going to be based off a lot of knowledge that we've seen in a lot of guys. So that's why we're so excited to do it, not just for fluff to do it, but really to put a list of these guys and really see. Because for us, this is going to be the first 2025 ranking we come out with, so we can really start to like put it in front of us and decide, okay, who's kind of what levels are we looking at. But it's one of the more exciting rankings that I think our staff, after we've seen them since last year as freshmen, now as sophomores, like. But you're right. I mean, there's 35 to 40, maybe even more. And I'm like, any given time I see him, I'm like, can this kid crack the top? Whatever it may be. So, yeah, exciting time. As always, we get to say, the future of Texas basketball is bright.
It is.
And just a good time to be here in the state.
And when something pops up in that 25, we're on it. And today, I'm going to go see somebody new that's on our radar. So that next gen is just popping off the pages every single time that we get a chance. We jump in the car and we go watch them.
Hey, let me hop in with this point too. If you happen to move schools, tag us. Let us know, because like we're trying to keep up and follow where everybody's going. If you switching teams, like that really helps us. That really helps our scouting service. I just wanted to throw that tidbit in there because like we need to know where you're at.
Helps the college coaches.
And we want to go see you. So
For sure.
yeah.
So now, continuing on, commitments and signings, had two recent ones. Commitment from James Cloud out of Prosper going to Oklahoma City, and then Demar Burton to Victoria College. Congratulations to both of you guys on your commitments. Now to some house cleaning. This is my talking point that's big. We sent out the newsletter last week, but the site that has hosted it, we're changing over to Substack. It's still going to be the same great product we've been putting out there for about a year now. It's still going to be exactly, we got the stock risers, we got team rankings, we got news and notes from all around the state, UIL, TAPS, Independence, we got it all. So make sure you subscribe to that if you want to stay current on all things Texas high school basketball. I mean, it really is a superior product to anything else I've seen out there.
Yeah, and the couple things that we need to strike home here is you get weeks long worth of information to your inbox on Fridays, on the first four Fridays of every month. sometimes some bonus issues. You're going to get your rankings. All we did was change over to a new, better newsletter
Platform.
format.
Yes.
The platform of it is incredible. And if you sign up between now and the end of January, you get 60% off. The entire year is going to be $14.40. Or if you want to wait, you can pay $3 a month. I mean, so $36 a year. Right now, we're just getting started, and by the time we hit April, it's just going to be booming. I mean, it's been very helpful even to us because we get to talk and see all of our talking points on there too, and we're covering a lot of ground in every Friday.
We're rounding up the state so you don't have to. And it was not our choice. The platform that we were using shut down. So, like, we were not choosing to do it, but it's actually going to be better. We're going to be a lot more dynamic. We're going to be able to post, like, Blue and I are thinking about, or we're working on, actually currently doing a series called Recruiting Simplified, where we're going to talk about how to self-promote yourself and all the little things you have to do. It's a lot more than you think to be recruited. Guys just aren't going to show up for you, and we're going to expand on that. But big things are coming in our new newsletter using Substack. The platform's amazing. We're very, very excited about it.
And for that price, like, I don't need summer coaches or kids saying, hey, can you screenshot and send me those rankings?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to say, hey, I see what you're doing. I see what vacations you're on. You can afford that.
Yeah.
But real quick to finish up house cleaning, just want to talk about next gen a little bit more. We're starting to pick up some steam on this, and I just wanted to reiterate, it's not a hype machine. We're not out there looking for the number one ranked youngster. This is more of an exploratory phase for us as we continue to see your game mature and grow from 2025s and younger. So tag GASO next gen, and if you are trying to get on our radar. We're not looking to do some of these rankings in middle school, but we are excited to see the new crop of upcoming kids, and this helps us, get a first look even earlier so that we can get you into our database, because we do have a lot of these next-gen kids. We're creating a database so that as you enter into the high school ranks in this summer, we're a little more familiar with you. The earlier, the better. So next-gen, and then YouTube, Texas Hoops TV YouTube, continue to put out a lot of game recaps. Big district matchups are going to be coming up, so we'll be covering the state on that. I have videographers all over the place, so exciting times. I feel like these district matchups produce a lot of great content for the channel, so I'm excited to share that with you.
And speaking of district, that's kind of what our next talking point is as far as what we're looking forward to seeing. I mean, how these districts and these playoff spots kind of play out. These coaches, once you get to district, Plan A is not going to be there for some of these players, and we're going to be really keen to evaluate how, if they take away what you're best at, what can you do to still make a positive impact at the game, just from a prospect evaluation standpoint,
Yeah, it's a really fun time of year. You kind of get the school pride going. There's a lot of these, rivalries that have kind of carried over throughout the years, and you get to see these really high-level matchups. And to Lyndon's point, be ready for your best skill to be taken away. That is what these coaches are looking at, and being able to perform beyond that is a big deal, and it's definitely going to catch our eye because we probably know what you're pretty good at this
It's
point.
The same thing. Like, if you're looking to be a college player, get ready to look at these conference games in the SEC, the Big 12. See how, some of these stud players, these coaches make millions of dollars, and they're trying to take away what the best players are doing at every level. So prepare for that now. If they're going to take away, like you said, what you do best.
Yeah.
How can you affect the game when they're trying to do that? Good point, Mass.
Yeah, so moving on to coaching milestones, had several over the holiday hoops period. Marc Johnson at Richardson Pearce picked up win 500. David Martinez of Atascocita picked up win 500. Chris Adamek for Boerne Champion win 400. Wes Watson win 400. Kyle Armstrong down at Karnes City with win 200, and Donte Wilson at Mansfield Lake Ridge also reached that 200 win threshold. Congratulations to all you coaches. So now moving on to the best game or matchup that you saw. Blue, I'm going to let you take this away because you just got back from seeing Legacy in iSchool. What are your thoughts from that game?
Well, it was a track meet. Timmins was there with us too, along with Sam Lowe, and it was a high-scoring game. And the stars shined, I thought. When you look at Fred Payne, when you look at the Houston Legacy in general, Fred Payne, and that did a lot of getting to the basket using his physical body. You know, he's going to Boston College. You know, he's a guy that's out there just working it every single time he hits a court. I mean, I've seen them, I think, 3 times this year, and he just has been consistent. Shot wasn't falling, but then he went to his second weapon there, which was just getting to the basket and being physical. Corey Skillman came out and started knocking down a couple shots. Somebody new that I hadn't seen in the past, and so you just look at Cam Burton shooting the ball consistently.
Smurf Millender, man, he was really
my
big
gosh.
time. It was one of those, and I'll piggyback off. You know, it was such a high scoring game. It's on YouTube as well. Game recap. I thought it was gonna be first one to get to 100, and in between quarters and halftime, you're saying, is there defense being played? And there was. It was just elite shot making and just dudes getting buckets. And you know, what's the phrase? You know, good offense beats good defense.
Yeah.
I mean, these dudes were really getting to it at a high level on both sides.
Yeah. And two more points here. You brought up you brought up Smurf. That dude is an elite defender. Oh my gosh, the quick hands, quick feet, and then he can just take off with the ball. In perimeter, he's going to knock down shots. And we're going to get into some more talk of high school here momentarily. But Matt Reed, he was really good. Just being around the basket, setting screens, slipping. The game was fun, you know. And obviously, when you score that many points, it is a more entertaining game. But like I said, everybody that we have in our top 100, top 150, everybody produced.
Absolutely.
It's fun when that happens. I'm going to piggyback off the big man chat because I got to see an awesome big man matchup. Two of some of the highly ranked guys in our 2024 class and our 2023 class. You had Josiah Mosley at Round Rock Stony Point and Michael Thomas at Denton. And, I mean, both these guys play hard. They're elite rebounders. And then they find ways to score around the basket. I'll start first with Michael Thomas. I think he had a 15-15 game. You know, just scored around the paint consistently, got every rebound, did everything that you expected him to do that. And when he's in that box, when he's in the paint, there are not many guys that can slow him down. I mean, and I thought Josiah Mosley, I don't know how many offensive rebounds Michael did get. He got a few, but I thought for the most part, I was like, Josiah's doing a good job of holding him off. Yeah. And on the other side, you have Josiah Mosley, who had, I think, like a 15 and 16 or 16, something like that. And, you know, I think one thing that gets overlooked about Josiah is how skilled he is off of a rebound. Like, he can grab a ball and he can bust dribble and go make the right decision. And I was talking to Coach Thompson about it at Round Rock Stony Point. He was like, yeah, he's growing in that area. He's growing in decision making. And that's really fun to see a guy who's so dominant, you know, at the things he already does really well, rebound and score around the basket and 15 feet. But his game is continuing to evolve. So that was really fun to see these two high-level big men play.
Yeah, and for me, another matchup that was just a highlight was at the Whataburger, where Bryson McLaughlin hit 26 points, had like 5 threes. He's a kid that's leveling up. I think we've all seen him in the past week, and you can just tell that he's really playing some high-level ball right now against Jaden Juarez, Cordelius Jefferson with Arlington Martin, always a fun group to evaluate, and Cordelius really took over. So that individual matchup between Bryson and him was a matchup that I had highlighted for a while.
Yeah, for me, I didn't get to see the first go around, Lake Highlands and Highland Park at the Allen Holiday Invitational, but just an elite chess match. You know, Dylan Walker gets hot early, and if you give Highland Park a lead, they can really execute and run their stuff and get exactly what they want. Colton Messer was big time in that game, like big time. Like questioning, like, okay, what level is this kid at? Having discussions, like, because he's a dude. But then as you see, you know, the game, you know, Lake Highlands starts to figure it out. But, I mean, it doesn't – Lake Highlands ends up winning that game, but I didn't know who was going to win the game until, like, 3 minutes left. Colson fouls out. Trey Johnson gets to the rack. Those guards, Jalen Washington and Quentin Perkins, man, I mean –
you can't take away everything.
Yeah.
Like, and you know.
And, you know, Colson fouls out because, I mean, Samson, 6'10", 6'11" in there is trying to dunk everything. It's a tough matchup, but going into because they've played once in district, they played at this event. Now they get a third district matchup, or a third go round, and it's still going to be a chess match because they both know what they do well, and it's just going to come down to shot making and who's hot in the fourth quarter, in my opinion. So really fun, kind of low scoring game, but I mean, if you love basketball, that's the type of basketball game you love.
All right, moving on to our MVPs of the weekend, and Mass stole mine. Jamiron Keller.
Oh, my God.
Colleen Ellison.
Yeah,
was that good this weekend?
He was, and I was really, really excited for that championship game between Colleen Ellison and Arlington Martin at the Whataburger. Just because of, I tweeted about it. You have two very secure stars. And when I say secure, I mean they don't have to shoot every time to show how good they are. They impose their will all over the floor in all different types of ways. And I think Jamiron got the best of the whole tournament this weekend. I mean, he was absolutely dominant, and he would just not be denied. What they did, they made Arlington Martin shoot tough shots, and I felt like Colleen Ellison was getting to the box a little bit more. They were getting to the paint, and when they'd miss, I feel like I'd see Jamiron Keller sky across the court and grab a ball and lay it back in. And he would not be denied. He missed some shots early and then really got going. I think he had 19 and 9. The game was a 48-41 final. So, I mean, 19 points, that's 40% of the scoring. And Jamiron was really special in the Whataburger Championship. So he is definitely my MVP. Sorry, Lyndon.
Yeah, you're good. It's okay because now I get to introduce a new stat into our lexicon, and that's grown man moves per game. Because Justin McBride is currently leading the state in grown man moves per game. Because every time I see him, he's leveled up. He is one of those guys where he used to be a little bit more back to the basket. Now he can shoot the three.
Absolutely.
He can hit it in the mid post, and then when he actually attacks the rim, he's throwing it down with some force. So was really impressed with what I saw yet again from Justin McBride, and he's making grown man moves, like I said.
Yeah, for me, Tijon Brown continues to add to his resume. Obviously, a kid that has a chip on his shoulder, under-recruited, but he just continues to go out there and performs for this Kimball team where he's the guy now. Kimball, I've had him on my kicking it courtside. I ask him, this means something. Kimball basketball means something. You're taking the keys. He just continues to do what he does, and that's win DISD, a staple event for years and years. Winning that matters. Just continues to go about his business. What I love, it's just so easy to root for the kid. Obviously we all know he wants some bigger schools to come lurking, but he just continues to do what he does. Mom's there cheering him on as if he's committed or signed. Obviously, it's just all he can do right now is go do what he's doing. That's winning. MVP of the DISD. Congratulations to him, big time.
Yeah, that was the 82nd Dallas ISD. Hope I'm around for number 100. So my MVPs, I think, is Westlake. 22-2. They win the Round Rock tournament, and they are 6-0, I believe, in district play, which might give them 81 straight district wins. So they just play team ball. That's why I give the MVP to the entire team. Team ball, what Robert Lucero is doing with that program. We're back to that's where Region 4 runs through.
Ho hum, ho hum. This is just normal.
I have to say, unranked. We owned that. Yeah. They were unranked. Another number 6, number 4 in the state, and in the GASO rankings.
Yeah, 5 or 6 in there. Yeah, but yeah, congratulations to all you MVP guys. Now we're on to some hot takes. Timmins, I'm going to let you start this one because I might be the guy who makes this hot take come true after what I just saw this last weekend.
Yeah, my hot take's very simple. Somebody in our GASO staff when doing rankings will have Jalen Lowe top 3 in the final ranking. Looking at this kid and the performances, I filmed him when he had 43 against Arlington Martin. And the 43 is a lot of points. And I'll give KJ Jefferson so much credit that if KJ Jefferson was not involved in that game, Jalen Lowe might have had 70. So take with that how you want. But, yeah, Jalen Lowe, he's just on another level. If you allow him to control the pace of the game, it's going to be hard to beat. So, yeah, somebody will have Jalen Lowe in the top 3, if not the top 2. So that's my hot take.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go.
Go ahead, go.
I'm going to go. This is like kind of my Avery Jackson Jr. of this year.
Yep.
Jaden Juarez of Arlington Martin. You're going to regret not recruiting that kid. Just to pump up Avery here, he's averaging like 18 points a game in a really good NAIA conference, and he's playing really, really well at Oklahoma City University. We are big fans of him here, and I see kind of the same type of thing with Jaden Juarez. He can dribble, pass, shoot, defend. Like, he does all of the basketball things that you need to win a game, and just don't miss on him. Like whatever level that may be, like, make sure you're evaluating this kid and giving him a fair shake, because he's a really, really talented player who plays the right way.
I agree.
Yeah.
Carson Templin, Drew Timme. I just see so much of that in him. Not at the I'm not saying at the elite top 2 in the nation type Drew Timme, but just the hands and the footwork. When I would get that guy the ball every single play and let him make a decision.
Yeah.
Because I've seen passes come into him where it looks like there's no way he's going to get it, and then just little fingertips and just passes it to himself, finishes, high post area, dumps the ball inside. This guy has every single five-man tool that you want. And I would be surprised when he goes to Utah State and he's just not a dude in the Mountain West, because he's got so much in his bag. It is fun, elite footwork and hands that he has.
Coaching nerd out here, like when he's playing in the pick and roll, he can pop, make a shot. He can short roll, make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
He can roll and go dunk it on you. Like, then he has an elite second jump. Like, Carson's very, very good player.
Now moving on to our next segment, talking about GASO gossip, keeping an ear to the ground, the big happenings in the state, and a really big one that just happened in Houston, Blue, that you can give us a little more information about.
Yeah, Zion Pipkin transfers back home to Houston, but this time to Houston Legacy from Oak Hill, and he's going to shake up the 2024 class rankings. I can't remember where he finished, maybe 5 to 7 range.
I would say 7 or yes.
And so now he's got some catching up to do in front of us. I mean, we have spent a lot of time in front of a lot of kids. Yeah. They have played well in front of us. Where he's going to land, I don't know. But throwing another guy like him in the mix to go out there and evaluate against what we've already seen and kind of what we already have planted in our head, that just puts in more little challenging work. So thanks, Zion, for coming back, and thanks for the challenge here that we're going to have here in the office.
And, yeah, we didn't get to see him play. I think he makes his debut maybe tomorrow for Houston Legacy. But, I mean, seeing him next to Smurf and Fred Payne, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That trio of guards, good luck.
I didn't want to kill the GASO gossip segment, but, like, Blue listed, like, 17 dudes from Houston Legacy without mentioning Zion. It was, like, impressive. Like, that's how deep they are. You know, and just to add a guy like that, that's really, really exciting. I'm going to go with 2 of the top unsigned 2023s that, you know, they've been all over the country, and that's at Duncanville. Eric Demings and Cam Barnes. They've been making a lot of noise nationally, and great for them. They're 2 of the top unsigned kids, you know, in Texas, and for good reason. They're playing really well because they're really good. So hats off to them. Good to see Duncanville represent Texas so well.
Yeah, and Cam Barnes is another one of those kids, obviously feels under-recruited. Just going out there and doing it, you know, adding to his skill set, producing on a national stage, you know. It's all going to work out, especially those 2 kids it's going to work out for. They just continue to put their head down and win. Yeah.
And win.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting.
For me, my GASO gossip, Austin St. Michael's versus San Marcos. I saw a lot of chatter on social media, so I knew it was going to be a big game. St. Michael's, number 1 in taps right now. San Marcos, I mean, their record, they've lost 2 games all season. So saw some fun banter back and forth on social media. So one of those games I wish I was there for. San Marcos ends up winning by 5 or 6 in a game where, you know, a lot of those kids know each other from summer basketball. So I know it's going to be a fun environment that I wish we had a Texas Hoops game recap on.
Yeah, and how about Dallas Carter going out to Lubbock and bringing home some hardware from out there? Took down Friendship, took down Lubbock Cooper, I believe it was, the other 2 teams, and then beat 6A DeSoto by 1 in the championship game. You know, they're kind of flying under the radar. I don't know how, but they're doing it just a little bit. But we'll get some eyes on them this weekend. I think it's Carter Pinkston on Friday, I believe. So
Sounds right.
We'll be able to get out there and see them with their guys. Chance Puryear with an MVP performance out in Lubbock.
Yep.
Just so many prospects on that team, and they're rightly so right at the top of 4A. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play out, considering the group that they're in there with the region, with Faith Family and that collision course that they're on.
Yep.
So moving on to our teams of the weekend. I mean, basically this is just the who's who of who won the big tournaments. Lake Highlands taking home the In-N-Out Championship Mass. You saw them a lot. Talk about them.
Yeah, we've touched on them a lot on this show. We've already touched on them in this episode. I just kind of wanted to say they have so many guys who can beat you. You know, teams are now scheming and doing wild things against them, and it just doesn't matter. And you can throw so many guys at Trey, and if you want to run 2 or 3 at him, he's going to make the basketball decision because he trusts his team to go get it done, and that's what they do. And Lake Highlands, they're going to be tough to beat.
Mm-hmm. Blue, go ahead, because mine does not fit what Lyndon said as far as championship teams.
True. I think right here, this segment, obviously, teams of the weekend, we're hitting on what we finished up with at Whataburger tournament, all of us, and so. McKinney. I thought McKinney went out. They took one in the face against Colleen Ellison, but then they bounced right back and they went 3 out. They played their district opponent in Denton Geyer for a championship. I don't think too much was pulled out as far as specialty plays against each other, but they went out and they finished the weekend with 3 straight. Wes Watson got his 400th win during that period. And so, just kind of looking at the standings in that district with Geyer and Allen, they're going to be fighting for that 3rd spot in that district. So I think it was very important for them to get some momentum because I think they're a little bit of a team there that maybe, they're not talked about heavily, of course, as they have been over the last couple of years.
Right. And piggybacking off the Whataburger, was down at the small school ranks. Over at Chisholm Trail, where Bullard ended up winning the Blue Boys bracket, where these guys have been a little bit slept on. They had an early season loss that kind of dinged them in the rankings, but now they're back right up there around the top 10. Garrett Knuckles is a player who, if you watch him with Texas Impact, he's more of the spacer shooter kind of guy, but he's the dude for them. He puts the ball on the floor, he elevates and extends at the rim, and he was all over the place. Was really impressed with him as they claimed championship. And they're in Region 3 with that 4A, so they're looking against the Jacksonville, Silsbee, Booker T, Furr, all those guys. So was really think that they might have a say as far as who comes out of there at the end of the year.
Loyal audience, take a look at his shirt. Like, he is representing Whataburger, the Blue Boys.
Looks like the only thing that was clean.
No free shout-outs unless they put in that sponsorship money over here. Right. For me, my team of the weekend went 1 and 2 at the Whataburger. So Leander Rouse, I'm putting them here because in Region 4 5A, I think the team is Boerne champion.
Yes.
But when you're Leander Rouse and you come out of that Austin, Central Texas area and come to DFW, and you're able to beat a team like Denton Geyer in the first game, you're able to see what it's like matching up against another 5A team in Fort Bend Marshall with Jalen Lowe. Mm-hmm. You're able to play against size and be in a competitive game against Plano and Justin McBride. Them being able to see this different style of basketball and being in these 3 games, they can go back to Central Texas and have some confidence and let people know that they're a player in that region, when I still think the region's there for the taking. So, yes, 1 and 2, but played competitive games against some real talent up here at the Whataburger. So
JoJo Moore was almost my GASO gossip. Like,
exactly.
Because he was that good against Geyer.
Yeah,
Wait, are we not? Is he not on? Did we move him out of one of these segments?
I don't know. He probably. Let's talk about him.
Oh yeah. JoJo Moore is one of those guys that's a stock riser for sure. Gets to wherever he wants. 6'5", 6'6", handles the ball, gets to the mid range. Guards, best player, just all those things as a 2024 that, one of the state stock risers.
Yeah, there's your 2024 right there.
Okay.
For Timmins, and the thing is that just to add a little bit more to, we've seen him a couple times. Mm-hmm. I guess all of us here.
I haven't seen him this year.
Oh, so they play so hard. They're a group that they lean on each other, and yeah, JoJo's out there. Man, he's Mr. Energy.
Yeah.
Love his game.
Yep.
So now, moving on to the unusual suspects, some guys that are a little under the radar that deserve some shine from their performances. And I'll start with a 9 3-point performance from J.J. Buchanan at the small score Whataburger with Canyon Randall. I mean, it was just a surreal game because it's not like he was the only one getting in on it because KJ Thomas hit 6 by himself. That's two guys for 15 threes.
Oh my God!
But JJ ended up with 34 points. He just went unconscious in the third quarter. I think he hit 6 of them in the third quarter by itself. I mean, just one of those performances. And he was trying to get 10. They were running sets for him at the end of the game, trying to get 10. Just didn't work out. But that was a really fun performance, and seeing a West Texas kid perform like that at the big stage at the small school Whataburger.
I'll hop in. Perico Smith, I think that's how you say your name, from Red Oak. This is the second time I've seen, or this might be the third time I've seen Red Oak, but this was the second time in a row that Perico was really, really good in transition. Red Oak, man, really good team. They always rack up tons of wins. They were very competitive in the DISD tournament. And Perico was a big reason why. He's really good in transition. Big guard, 6'4". And, Red Oak, if you play against them and you're a guard, you got your work cut out for you because they're going to make you work. And, man, fun player to watch. He was really good in the transition in their up and down game, their up and down style that they play.
Yeah, mine, Colson Messer, I talked about him earlier. I called you Colton earlier. My bad, bro. But
Way to redeem yourself.
I mean, his ability, he's just a hybrid, just a freak. Just
Not a lot of inside-out guys like that are elite at both,
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's good at both inside-out.
like when you look at Highland Park and the way they execute and run sets, but then you have a guy like this who's going to get the rebound and push it full court and finish with both hands. He gave Lake Highlands hell. And, his ability that he stretches it, shoots the three good enough to where the shot fake, people are biting for he's going right by you. So crafty. I mean, he has the Draymond Green IQ to where he knows where his guys are. He knows how to set the screens. He knows where to deliver passes. Just the full package of a guy that if you're looking for a winner in that 2023 class that gives you all the intangibles at the next level, that's the guy that I'm looking at. Mm-hmm. And Blue, I want to pass this one to you. And I posted some highlights on this kid yesterday that are pretty unusual looking for. And that's Garrett Falls from Plano Pleasanton.
I mean, he's got the length, the look, soft touch coming off the dribbled in short corner jumpers, and then he goes out there and bam, throws one in. He was at homeschool over the past several years, I believe, and now he's at Prestonwood for his senior year, and college coaches start calling because he can handle it, he can distribute it, he does everything. He didn't have to take a lot of perimeter shots. He did not hit a three, but when you're that skilled and that kind of quick off the dribble to get by your man, when they played John Paul, and we got to kind of see on that. But everything else looked polished.
And give him more credit. He didn't throw one in. He threw one down multiple times. I mean, he caught a lob.
Line, yeah.
When I'm filming and I see Jalen Shelley at the wing throw a lob, I think it's going to be Francis catching that.
Right.
And then all of a sudden Garrett comes out of nowhere, bam, sits on the rim, gets a tip dunk, missed a free throw, vertical dunked one. He's a real athlete as well. You could see the skill as well. But yeah, that was a kid that stood out in that Prestonwood John Paul game the other night.
Yeah, and now moving on to the player eval section with some 2023s. Blue, Evan Chapman, very familiar with him.
Yeah.
What did you see from him this weekend?
Just the ability to knock down shots and kind of sit out on the perimeter and give them that threat for Harker Heights. When I saw them down at Round Rock, and he'll dip inside, he'll go rebound. Just really liked his overall game. And then I need help with this last name, Femi
Olaniyan.
Oh, okay.
I believe.
Well, from Allen. He just keeps popping up. I mean, I saw them twice over like the last 10-day period, and
Very productive.
strong.
I put him in the newsletter. So
yeah. Just instant production.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
that's what translates at multiple levels. And so I'm very fired up to kind of see how the rest of his year goes and where he winds up.
Yeah, and for me, I couldn't have Jamiron Keller as the MVP, so I am taking Dion Ware as my 2023 player.
This is a good one.
Because he was just everywhere. Every time they needed an impact play the entire weekend, he was the guy who would go get a tough transition bucket or come up with a stop or get a huge rebound. He's just kind of their jack-of-all-trades utility guy, and he does an excellent job playing within himself, but also knowing when it's time for him to get his whenever they start sending double teams at Jamiron or helping off JoJo, and he's able to be able to step up for them and was really important in their run to the championship at Whataburger.
I'm going to go with Tyler Hankemer. Seen him a couple times at Kimball. This guy's a long, rangy wing. You know, when we hear from colleges, they love long, athletic, tall kids. And, I mean, like that's what this guy is. And he can score on – he was scoring on multiple levels. He was really getting after it on defense like Kimball always does. And then he was doing his thing in transition. I mean, that's almost a given at Kimball. Like, you know how to play in transition. And Tyler was really good.
Yeah, I have a clip that I'm going to post today probably where he's in transition against Pinkston and like he like palms the ball before he takes off and just manipulates and just dunks it down. Like, yeah, the kid's big time and just brings one of those just a calming presence for that Kimball team. In 2023, I'll finish out Ethan Blackman of high school. One of those kids that really wasn't too much on my radar, but his production, you know, was insane against Houston Legacy. Very nasty toughness. A lot of and ones, trying to dunk everything. Finishes really well. Has a lot of Kyron Lindsay kind of stuff going on there for high school, to where it's just no nonsense. Finishes with both hands, but just I think the toughness. You have Matt Reed all over the place playing inside and out. Matt Reed can step out because this kid's cleaning up a lot of stuff inside. Just a prospect that upped his stock and in a game that was, like we talked about, really up and down pace against Houston Legacy. This kid, you know, was finishing everything inside, getting to the free throw line, and just doing his thing.
And let me add to that, because I've seen them in the beginning, the middle, and even a couple of days ago, I've seen high school, and he's gotten better, and even better from last year. He's trimmed down. He's very light and fluid in all of his movements.
So, yeah, moving on to our 2024s. For me, it was a new face that I hadn't seen before. I went out to Rockwall on Tuesday night to go see them take on North Forney, and Kevon Johnson was really impressive, just as a playmaking guard. He's 5'9", the small, true like undersized scoring guard. Really great footwork on the drive. Really great body manipulation to get around the bigs that. Rockwall has, and Hudson Gellner ended up doing his thing, and they ended up pulling away and winning, but was really impressed with what I saw from Kevon and North Forney.
Yeah, for me, I'll go ahead and two guys, Bryce McLaughlin and Jalen Shelley, two of the longer wings in the state, and their ability to rebound and want to rebound is really what stood out for me. They go up to the very top of wherever they can jump to and go get the rebounds, and that's just one of those skill sets when these college coaches are continuing to recruit. You know, those are translatable skills that we obviously know they can both put the ball in the basket. We also know that they're both freaks doing a lot of things, handling the ball, shooting the ball. But their ability to rebound offensively and defensively, it was big time.
Yeah, I thought the way Bryson played when I saw him at Whataburger was like just different from what I've seen in the past, and I was thoroughly impressed. I showed up seeing like he was all over this page, so I just wanted to give my 2 cents.
Absolutely.
I'll go with a Waco Midway player, junior Justin Hicks. Never seen him before, and first thing, he comes off a ball screen, and his defender goes under, and he says, okay, fine, now I'm going to shoot it. And then he does it again, and I was like, all right, like, okay, we can play with that. And then the next time, you know, they're chasing him a little bit, and he's making a good decision. Big guard, about 6'2", 6'3", kind of plays off the ball with Lawyer on the ball, and really liked him. I thought I'm excited to see him again because he showed some stuff and some confidence that's like just a little different. Like, hey man, I like if you go under, I'm gonna make you pay. I like that.
It's funny that we watch some of these prospects and subconsciously we're like, if he probably does one more thing, he's gonna get talked about in the GASOcast because we're always like, oh, that would be a good guy, you know. So it's just funny, like you start to see that in your mind. Well, you hit another one, okay?
Like,
maybe
okay,
you might be getting a shout out on the next GASOcast.
That's funny.
Yeah, Braden Pitts. I think that we just got to do segments of just games on GASOcast because, man, Braden Pitts, Louisville High School, 6 threes. And it wasn't a fluke. It was catching the ball, getting good pocket passes, knocking it down. And 6 of them. I mean, I think he was about 6 for 11, 6 for 12 in the game, and I'll take that at any level.
Yep.
No, absolutely. And like we talked about, 6 and a couple of those were like contested when they had to have them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, big time shot maker there.
Yeah. So now for our final segment of next gens, the 25s and 26s that we saw a lot, and just the first guy who we're going to talk about is somebody who we were 6 or 7 deep watching this game.
Never happens. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome because Allen was the only tournament really going on that first Tuesday back from the break, and that's Hudson Greer with Lake Travis, and we got to see what he does the best.
Yeah, and most people know at this point what Hudson can do. Like, he's a really, really impressive scorer. But what I want to talk about is his mindset. Like, the guy struggled in the first half. They were down by 20 to Plano East, who's a really well-balanced, really good team. They threw a lot of different defenders at him. And, when he comes out in the second half, you're going to be able to – it's like, okay, this is a moment. Like, you're going to figure out, like, is this kid going to fight back? Is he going to come out swinging? Like, what are we going to see? 25 in the second half?
Yeah.
And they did lose, but they made the game very, very tight. I think it got down to 7 at one point. It was just like the mentality of a kid who's really talented, really good, but when his back was against the wall, he came out swinging and just said, hey, you're going to have to put me down because I'm not going down kind of deal. And very impressed with how he scored the ball. And he hit some shots that were just kind of like, looked at each other like, oh, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I mean, 6'6", 6'7", can score the ball on legitimately 3 different levels, and really excited to see what Hudson becomes. And he's another one of those guys you were talking about in the rankings where it's like, where is he going to end up? Like that's a fun question.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Blue, I want you to talk about this kid because I'm excited that he's back.
Well, Bo Ogden went for 5 points when I watched him, but points don't always tell the stories. Mm-hmm. And apparently with him, it's a totally different story because you had to watch him because the next game he goes for 30. But the length, the size, the instincts that he has as a player to hit the gaps, to get the ball going in transition as an extra ball handler, his mid-range game, and then he sits out on the perimeter. You want to get him the ball, and they're looking for him. And the thing about him is that he understands the game. He moves. He does it. He's not one of these guys that just runs to a spot and claps his hands and shows it, give me the ball, give me the ball. He moves. He goes. He's always moving, inching closer to that ball. And we're not doing a 2026 ranking this year. It will come out February of 2024. But you're looking at right now. I shouldn't say this, but top 2 or 3 guy in the state of Texas in 2026.
Wow.
I mean,
I'm not mad at it.
No.
For me, Mass and I both like this kid, Jalen Deep Vines out of Pinkston.
Shout out OA.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Shout out OA.
I'm glad you said it because I was about to, and I didn't want to give him that respect. But yeah,
He deserves it. He deserves it.
OA, OA's been out here,
OA shot it.
OA shot it. He sees some of these young prospects, and he was right on this kid.
Oh, man. He was like, hey, y'all need to check out this guy, Jalen Devines. We were like, what is he? And he's like, super freak athlete, and his skill is coming on. Yeah. And he was not lying. Like, caught the attention right from the beginning, buried a 3. And then if you go look on his Twitter, it's like every dunk like you could ever imagine. 6'4" sophomore. He's got some real game, and he's a kid that you could see like exploding when everything comes together. He's already very effective now. I don't know, impressive.
Yeah, and when you look at that core of Pinkston, there's a lot of guys that will be back next year and for years to come. So look out for Pinkston. They got something special there. Lyndon finishes off.
Yeah, I'll wrap things up. Theo McKelvey for Sulphur Springs. The kid's 6'5". He moves extremely well. He's a great, one of those guards who will go rebound outside of his area but can still put it on the floor and score whenever it's time, whenever he can get a lane. Was really impressed. They have got an impressive team. We can't forget about them in 4A.
4A is fun.
It's crazy.
It is really fun.
Yeah. So was really impressed. I saw them beat Tyler Legacy on Tuesday night at Allen, and he was right there in the mix of it with Cordrick and with Parker and Branson and all those guys they have down there. So that'll do it for this edition of the GASOcast. Make sure you follow us on social media. I'm at GASO Lyndon, GASO Blue, GASO Mass, and at iFilm Hoopers. We should have GASO at GASO iFilm Hoopers now or something like that for your GASOcast presence. Subscribe to the GASOcast on YouTube, like and turn on your notifications, all that good stuff. Comment if we missed you, if anything, if we were, if you're a next gen guy, especially, we're looking for you right about now in the 25 and 26 class. So make sure you hit us up with that. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.